Hey guys, today's video is for Rachel Lee, who has over 200,000 subscribers. We had a question on Tumblr: have we seen her latest video and what are our thoughts?
The video is called Why I Can't Stand Vegans. Alright, so just a heads up, Rachel has made it really clear in her video that she doesn't respect vegans like us or YouTubers like us who make response videos. She's not interested. She actually finds these kind of videos disgusting. So although this is a response video to Rachel, and we do hope that she watches it, we've got a feeling that she's probably not going to, or she's going to block it and just not take in what we're saying. So this video is not only for Rachel, it's for everybody else watching that may be more open to what we're going to say today, and hopefully you can get a different perspective on what she's talking about.
So she says a lot in the video. We don't have time to respond to everything. Just to put it into context, at the beginning of 2015, she was eating a vegan diet, or we'll call it a plant-based diet, because of course veganism is not a diet. And in the middle of 2015, she received some comments from vegans that she called nasty. And she was suffering from depression and anxiety at the time, and she's been carrying those feelings until now. So let's get into it.
And I was completely shocked at how people who preach about, you know, being kind and caring and saving the world was so nasty. And they didn't know I was depressed. They didn't know what their words were doing to me. However, I don't think that that's an excuse for such negativity to be spewed out of someone's mouth. It left a really bad taste in my mouth to do with vegans, veganism. I was so angry and I was so mad and I was so disgusted with the word vegan. I couldn't say it and I couldn't write it and I couldn't have anything to do with vegan stuff, and it just made me cringe. Like, yes, I was still eating like vegan stuff, but I wanted nothing to do with it anymore. I didn't even want to acknowledge the word. I just couldn't, because it just had scarred me so much from the nasty, awful things that people had said.
So this is pretty full on, and it's very interesting how she kind of spits the word vegan out. It's like, vegan, she's very, it's like it literally has left a bad taste in her mouth, and she's bah. So we don't have the full picture here. We don't know what she's referring to. She doesn't link the video, or maybe she took it down, we don't know. For vegans to react in such a harsh way, obviously we're assuming that she had some animal foods come into her diet, and we went back through her channel around that time of the year that she was talking about, and she's got What I Eat videos all over the place, and they all got vegan in the title. So obviously some animal foods came in, and the vegans would have said, well, hey, excuse me, you're eating animal foods, and then that's all blown up, and this is her reaction. So these are words that she is responding to, but
our violent actions speak much louder than our peaceful words. So the violence that we pay for every time we take out our wallet and buy meat, dairy and eggs is much, much worse than any words that any vegan could ever say to a non-vegan.
And I think something that's really interesting is that she was kind of like, I don't want to be vegan because of what those people did to me. You don't go vegan because vegans are either nice to you or they're not, or how other people treat you. That has absolutely nothing to do with the choice of going vegan. You go vegan because you simply don't want to pay for violence anymore.
Exactly.
You realize that this message here, it's not food, it's violence. And you're just putting up your hand and saying, not in my name. That's all it is.
And at the end of the day, words are just words. Nobody can make you feel anything. If you feel something as a result of some words that someone has said, that's your issue, not theirs. So you need to have a look at what's making you feel a certain way based on what someone has said.
For me, now I'm at a point where I try the best that I can to have a vegan lifestyle. I will choose vegan options where possible, but if it's not always possible, especially if I'm in situations with people around me that are not vegan, then I don't mind being flexible and choosing a vegetarian option or whatever is available at the time. I am not going to discard my family or my friends because of their lifestyle choices, and I do not disrespect them.
Whenever possible, it's always possible, unless someone is holding a gun to your head and forcing you to eat meat, dairy and eggs, or they'll pull the trigger. Even then, it's still a choice. It's always possible. You can still dine with family and friends as a vegan, even if they're eating non-vegan foods. It doesn't mean that you have to discard family and friends the moment you decide to, no longer participate in the violence towards animals yourself.
We're assuming that Rachel hasn't had a lot of education in terms of the ethics behind veganism.
Because if you've watched Earthlings, for example, and you have a brain and a heart and a willingness to connect them and use them, then, you know, going vegan is just, a decision that you can make in the moment. But if you haven't seen the footage of animal cruelty and abuse and murder, then, you know, you don't have the full picture.
And so therefore this, you know, I'm flexible, and if it's available, great, I'll have it. If it's not, well, I'm not going to be too stressed about it. That stops, because every single time you're flexible, an animal loses their life, and it's not okay.
You have to do what is best for you. Every human is totally different, and what works for one is not going to work for another. This goes for physically and mentally as well.
So I have to call bullshit here. Humans are like any other animals. All cows eat the same thing, all horses eat the same thing, all humans are designed anatomically and physiologically to eat the same things. It's not an issue of debate or question or...
It's not our personal opinion. This is science.
Absolutely. So we are all the same in terms of what we're designed to eat.
That's why 14 out of the world's 15 leading causes of death are scientifically linked to eating animal foods.
Why have these vegans lost the compassion for human psychological well-being? And I would like to ask that to every person that wrote something really nasty to me. Are they aware that the nasty words made my depression a lot worse than what it was? Are they aware that the way they treated me actually turned me off wanting to be vegan?
Okay, when you go vegan, you're still the same as everyone else. You're just choosing not to have animal products, not to hurt animals, not to pay for animal cruelty. Everything else is basically the same. We still get angry. We don't walk around like we're Mother Teresa and handing out flowers, peace flowers or something. Like, we still experience a full range of emotions. And what is very frustrating is when we know the truth and we're screaming out the truth, trying to wake people up, and we keep hitting our heads against the wall over and over because nobody wants to hear it, nobody wants to see it, no, I still love bacon, or whatever the excuses are. So yes, we get frustrated. Now, if you think this is not compassionate, well, you're just blocking and you're choosing how you interpret this message. Letting someone know what they're doing is wrong because of X, Y, and Z is compassionate.
We hear
But
a lot.
helping you.
Exactly. We hear a lot about, oh, you know, vegans are so judgmental. You shouldn't judge. You should always be positive. You should never be negative. You've got to be compassionate to humans and animals. Look, we have lived the Namaste lifestyle, and
We're yoga teachers.
so we know that there's a lot of fluff and airy-fairy spiritual woo-woo stuff. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean you have to be that way whatsoever. Again, we're multi-dimensional human beings experiencing the full range of emotions that everyone else does. And there's nothing wrong with judgment. Judgment, when you're thinking critically and pointing out someone else's poor choices and poor behavior, that is a necessary, positive thing, and it should not be viewed as negative.
That's how we change the world.
That's how we evolve, that's how we grow, that's how we better ourselves, the world around us.
Because again, as we said earlier, whatever words, they're just words that come out of somebody's mouth, do not have any stretch of comparison to what animals go through every second of the day. 2,000 animals are slaughtered every second.
Yeah, and you've got to take control of your own thoughts and emotions, because if you don't, someone else will be controlling them. And we receive, you know, the most hateful, negative
Disgusting,
comments
really
and-
bad stuff.
Oh, absolutely, on our channel
Yeah.
every day.
We have to delete some of them because they're so inappropriate.
But do we allow it to get us depressed, or, you know, do we get all anxious over it? No, we're in control of our thoughts and emotions.
yeah, and if you can't, then YouTube is not the place for you. You know,
Yeah.
social media is not the place for you. If you're going to carry something for over 6 months and be so hurt by it, what could these vegans have said? Please, Rachel, if you are watching this, share the comments. They would have said, hey, you're eating meat, dairy, eggs, whatever, you know, you snuck into your diet, and this is what the reality is, and you can't do that, all right? Get the education, here's some videos. It's the same comments and the same things vegans say over and over and over and over again. So we just have to keep things in perspective. At the end of the day, we need to start thinking about the animals.
Exactly, and sometimes a vegan might deliver something in a less than, you know, optimally friendly, positive way, and that might just be because they're at the end of their tether, that they might have sat down, you know, trawling through slaughterhouse footage, factory farm footage, seeing animal abuse and murder for hours on end to make a video, and they're just like, oh my God, this nightmare has to stop, you know, we've got to wake non-vegans up, and they just sort of, you know, say,
comes out.
that's it.
You know, you don't take an oath of, I'm going to act like Gandhi from now on just because I'm vegan all of a sudden. No one ever said that that was how vegans have to be.
No. It's
Yes,
natural to get angry,
of course.
isn't it?
In fact, if you're not angry, then you don't know enough and you're not taking enough action.
Absolutely.
So we want people to be angry.
Yeah. I mean, if it was your dog or if it was your cat that someone was paying to kill, you would want people to be as angry and vocal as vegans are.
Anger leads to action. If you're not angry, then you're not taking enough action in this world.
And you're not
we're
paying attention.
No, and we're not going to get anywhere like this.
But you're just going to be one of the apathetic masses, and we don't need any more apathy on this planet. We are saturated in apathy. What we need is action.
Yes, now, this whole idea of, well, I'm doing this and this should be enough. I've taken these steps and let's applaud people who take steps. Yes, we applaud people, thumbs up if you're taking whatever steps, fantastic. But you can't just take 3 steps and stop and not get to 6. That's not good enough because it's someone else's life that you're taking. And this is where the whole idea of speciesism comes into play. You have to watch the documentary Speciesism, the movie, to understand that every animal's life is worth just as much to them as your life is to you. They don't want to die. So saying, I'm going to take 3 steps and stop here, and I'm doing more than the majority of people, so that's good enough, is not good enough because the animals that are still being killed when you miss steps 3 to 6, they're dying, and they're saying, hey, well, you know what, you're doing really well on 6 days a week, but if you just didn't eat cheese on day 7, I could keep my baby. Okay? So we always have to think that veganism, as we always say, is not the most we can do, it's the least we can do. So take whatever steps you need to take, but make them fast and get to that end point of no animal products.
What everyone who hasn't seen the footage doesn't realise is that every time you pay for meat, dairy and eggs, you are literally paying for the rape and murder of another being.
The thing we want to say is that you have to turn this around. Until you're actually vegan, you have no idea what negativity is. We receive messages daily from teenagers that are literally in tears saying that their parents are physically abusive towards them to eat meat. We've had people write to us about bullying in schools and the workplace. Commercial television will openly mock vegans. It is relentless. And let's not forget how many large YouTube channels have made videos recently titled, for example, this one, why I can't stand vegans. Vegans are wrong. Why are vegans aggressive? I hate
Vegetarians
vegans.
are annoying.
On and on and on. What if vegans turned around and made a video called Why We Can't Stand Meat Eaters? There would be uproar, but we don't. We're just constantly reacting and responding to this negativity. So it goes both ways, and vegans are definitely on the receiving end of a hell of a lot more.
So we hope this video has given you a different perspective on why vegans can sometimes say nasty words. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Feel free to share the video with Rachel. And until next time, remember that going vegan is not the most we can do.
It's the least we can do. See you next video.
Bye guys.